Welcome to Sonographers in the Cities, where we connect through sound with your hosts, Lynn and Giselle.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Sonographers in the Cities. I'm Giselle.
And I'm Lynn.
And today's a very special episode, you guys, because guess what? Lynn is now registered. Yay!
Yay!
Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel good. Only good because the test was brutal. So I didn't get the I-pass prize that I got when I passed the SBI. So, but I feel really good, excited, relieved. Yeah.
You should feel proud of yourself. If you guys listened to our last episode, we were talking about all the things that Lynn has in store for this upcoming season, and that test was one of them. And congratulations, look at what you did. I'm so proud of you. I knew you'd pass. You are doing so well. And now it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do next?
Our DCS is next.
There you go. Okay. So you'll be double registered right away. Yes. Ooh. Do you have a feeling of like when you'd want to schedule that?
Relatively soon. Just because my schedule for the rest of the year is kind of packed and it's all very one relying on the other. So I have to do this in order to do the next one and then the next one, and then I'll start working. So I don't really have a gap to just take a breather.
Yeah. See, so I mean, how would you say you're like trying to organize your time? Because now you've got so much stuff. Is it like a checklist? Is it like, how do you organize all the things you got to get going?
One day at a time. I'm so sticking to what I've been saying for the past almost 2 years now. One day at a time, and to do my priorities, like what's important for today, get that done. I have a mental checklist. I'm not a to-do list person. So I have a mental checklist and things that needs to get done. Like obviously my classes is a little bit low on the lower end. But once I get my registry done, then I can refocus on my classes and for finals, which is coming up in like 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Wow. I don't know how you did it because I didn't get any registries till after I graduated. So I give you so much props. Congratulations.
Thank you. My program, if you get really good grades, which is an 85 or above for the respective classes, like for me, it was Vascular 1, Echo 1, Vascular 2, Echo 2. And the general track is OB and Abdomen 1 and 2. Like if you get 85 and above for those classes, you qualify for or to apply to sit for the registry 60-day before graduation.
Oh,
did you know that?
No.
It's a program for educators, actually. Your program director has to submit paperwork that you qualify for everything. So when I applied, it was automatically approved. And then once I receive the ECL, I can just schedule.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's really efficient and smooth sailing for me. Like I didn't need to upload any documents or anything because, my program director uploaded everything. Yeah. And I was approved instantly.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, because I know.
And so, yes.
Oh, go ahead.
So I was bored in clinicals one day and I was reading the student handbook, and that's how I found out that you're qualified to sit 60 days. So I worked
Oh.
really hard to get those grades so that I can take it 60 days before graduation because, I want to be registered as soon as I can so that I can work as soon as I can because that is my end goal.
Yeah. See, so, and that's what, for those of you who are still students, like usually to get a registry, you have to do the prerequisites for ARDMS or CCI or wherever you're getting your registry from. But that's really good that you did that and you looked at your handbook because I'm sure there was something like that. I don't know. I didn't think of it at the time. I just waited till I graduated and then did registry. So I'm sure that's very common. But like for people like me who don't know that stuff, did you like make a post about that on Instagram? Are you planning on doing that so people are more aware? Because I don't know if people are aware of that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I learned of this through my student handbook. My program director only say if you get this grade, you get to sit for this 60-day in advance. But I didn't know the process behind it. The reason I found out the whole process was because I reached out to ARDMS saying, I'm expecting my program director to submit all my paperwork. When is it going to be available? Because, I have a timeline that needs to get done. And they responded giving me all these information about ARDMS having this program. And then, it's like a program for educators. And she provided me all the links. And I just looked through and was like, this is really nice for ARDMS to, give an opportunity to students who are, doing well in their program to be able to get this advantage.
Yeah.
So I learned that from reaching out to ARDMS myself.
Oh, dang. That's amazing. Look at you go. See, you guys, be proactive and do all the things and do your research. That's amazing.
Yes.
Congratulations again. And I'm sure you'll do great on the cardiac one. Do you have any tips since like now you're like freshly registered? What are your like, how do you feel now that you look back? Is there anything you would have changed? The way that you like studied or like,
The way that I studied, no, because, I was really confident in my study techniques.
Yeah.
Because I study how I studied and I know myself. And, I've said it in previous episode or on my posts, the best way for you to study is to know yourself. And the exam was really hard for me because there are many, many questions on there that I didn't learn in class. And it's something that you could learn in clinicals, and I didn't get a chance to see that in clinicals. So I had very little to no exposure to that topic or topics. So that was made it rough.
Right.
And the ones that I know, it clicks instantly. It's like yes or no, but those were really struggling. I really had to use all of my, test taking techniques, educated guess, process of elimination, reading the questions like 3 times, trying to understand what they're asking, and, like critical thinking like backwards and all over the place. So yes, that was rough.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm so like, I feel like I would have anxiety and like, I would be like, oh my gosh, there's like between 2 answers, and you're just like, which one do I pick? It's like that.
It's 50-50.
Yeah. So, and I see what you're saying because I think a majority of people who have taken the vascular registry can agree with you that a majority of that stuff that we have to study in there is stuff that we don't do in clinicals or do as much anymore if you're not in a vascular lab really, or if like there's a lot of different things that are like old school that are still in that book. So
for my exam, I feel like it's very, I think they're trying to kind of
Take that out?
tailor to current practices.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the, I know we can't really say what's on the test, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to say what's around it. A lot of the topics that I was struggling is what's currently being doing, that's more common in, in
Today.
hospitals,
Yeah.
in other facilities,
Mm-hmm.
and
And you
I think
didn't
they're
do that.
really, mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it happens. I just don't know the process because I have never seen it, and we didn't go over it in class.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And those are all things that you just try to figure out or hope that you get. And, you got through it and you passed. So that's all that matters.
Yes. Thank
And now
you.
you're registered and you have RVT after your
And
name.
trust me, I will pay attention to those when I start working, and I will know them 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of things I think that we can learn over time. So when people take registries later, like let's say when you're already working, you have a little bit more of an insight. So you have that experience to be able to help you later on down the road, right? So if you decide to take, other exams, which really I think there's only the two for you, right? You're just going to do RDCS and RVT. So
For now.
for now, I was gonna say like one day if you get experience in abdomen, you're gonna be a full-on, sonographer, and you'll have all this experience that when you take the registry, yeah, it's like kind of scary. You're already gonna, read things all over again, but you have the actual hands-on experience to make you think, oh, and that's why I think people who are already sonographers have a leg up because they have all that experience behind them. You are freshly new grad and you just passed the vascular test, like one of the hardest exams out there in the entire world, and you passed it. So
it makes the SBI seems like a breeze, to be honest. And SBI was, it was doable. It wasn't easy. It was doable. But this, I was sitting there. And also, I didn't know that we can request accommodations. I thought it's just for, people with disabilities. That's why. But I talked to the proctor and she's like, if you want a room, you can request for it. Because the person next to me was reading his exam out loud to the point where she had to stop him. I'm like, so that was another issue.
Yeah. Well, why don't you share? Well, so you got another room, right? You got to go?
No.
Or they said you could?
She said I could next time because last time I was put in a room coincidentally. So I tried requesting it today or when I took it, and she's like, it's usually you have to request it for them to, because they assign, everyone a station.
Okay. So let's just go through for those students who are anxious or nervous or people who are curious about how the process goes. How was your experience taking the vascular exam, going in person, going to the site and all that? Is it does it make you nervous?
Yes.
What can they expect?
They can expect to not study at the site because they don't allow it. I brought my study materials and he was like, put it in the locker. You're going in to take your exam. And I'm like, oh, by the way, they suggest that you come in 30 minutes early. So I thought I had time to study. Nope. I walked in and it's like, put everything in your locker. And I was like, okay, I guess we do it.
You're like, guess I'm ready. Here we go. Now or never. Okay. Yep. That's a good tip. Don't study. You can't stay there.
You can't study. So, if you
ready.
want to study, come
way early, probably, right?
earlier. Yeah. Because I got there 45 minutes before. So 15 minutes before the 30 minutes. So I was able to study 15 minutes. But the moment I walk in, can't study.
Yeah. And then they do this whole process, right?
And then You go in, they take your ID, you put your stuff in your locker, you come, palm screen.
Yeah, they like
Yeah,
read your
palm
palm,
screen, and then
which
when
I'm like, what
everything's
does that do? But I don't know.
when everything's done, they're like, "Do you have to go to the restroom?" And of course I do because I'm freaking nervous. So
Yes,
when
go
I
to the
come back, I
bathroom.
go straight to the back. There's another person there. They sit with, the cameras for every single station. You bring in your locker key, your ID, and once you get in there, palm print again to confirm that's you. They give you a whiteboard and a marker for you to write, but you can't write it until the first question starts. So, which is when the first question starts, that's when the timer starts.
I hate
Can I say
timers.
how many questions were on my exam?
I mean, you can
It
like
was way,
ballpark it.
it was way more than what I
Oh, what
expected.
you thought. I feel like those exams are like they just
Because
so
my
many.
SPIs were in the low, like the very low 100s.
There's
This is in the very high 100
wow. Yeah, I
for the
haven't
same
looked.
amount of hours.
It's like what, almost 3 hours? Or
It's
is it
3 hours.
okay, 3 hours. Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Do you take the whole time?
I
Or
took
no?
longer than I expected. I took 2 hours and 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I think that's pretty average, 2.5 hours.
Oh,
I think that's average actually.
okay.
But I think like, because people who finish in an hour, that's almost like less than what, 30 seconds a question then, right?
My sweet spot is around an hour and a half to two.
Mm-hmm.
Once I pass the 2 hour mark, I get anxious because I'm taking too long. And then
Yeah,
I was like, do I know my stuff? And then I started questioning
right.
myself. And then I'm like second guessing. And then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I'd rather pass.
Well,
I mean,
that's
I
why
hope I
like
pass.
that's why they suggest like, if you know it, do the ones that you know for sure. You get those out of the
Mhm.
way, and then you're like contemplating the ones that you like flagged or you're like confused or.
And then like when you get like anxious and you keep flagging, I was like, why am I keep flagging? Do I know my stuff? I'm like, there's way too many flags.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like a very bad,
Yeah, toxic
anxious cycle of test
test
taking.
taking. Ugh, I hate test
But
taking. But you
the
passed.
hardest test is over. The
Yeah.
SBI and the RVT.
Mm-hmm.
It has a 64% passing rate as of last year.
Wow.
Um,
You did it.
yes. Oh, also for those of you who are interested, what's on the test, ARDMS has the percentage of certain topics that's on there. I use that to study. You should look at every single one, not just the highest percentage.
So, yeah, they pretty much put it out there for you guys, like the
Mhm.
outlines, and
The
um,
outlines.
there's a lot of material out there to study with for any of the exams. And what did you use? What did you find most helpful?
To study.
Yeah.
I use ESP flashcards.
Mm-hmm.
The questions are very vague, but they help you think. Um, they help you think critically. Like
Yeah.
they expect you to know the answers without multiple choice, because a lot of
Right.
us would rely on multiple choice to figure out the answer. But ESP flashcards, they're like usually name and describe um, this, name and describe that. So it's very open ended,
Yeah.
which I
I
really
like
like
that. Mm-hmm.
because it makes you think. And the questions are tricky, obviously, so it helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one that I use one URR, so that's ultrasound registry review mock exam, because I want to practice
Mm-hmm.
test taking. And I've heard good things about it because the questions are usually harder than the exams.
Yeah.
I was disappointed, to be honest, using that because once they give you 9 attempts to pass, and 85, if you get 85%, you pass.
Mm-hmm.
I did it twice. And then once you pass, they take it away. You can't even go back to review it.
Oh.
So I'm like, I can't even review what I did wrong.
Like, so you don't know. You don't know what to study. Huh. I've never used URR.
I paid $15 for it, so I'm expecting to be using 9 times. You're like, practice taking the test 9 times.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really, you take it, you pass, and it goes away. They don't even have it in your profile for you to go back and review.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time I took it and I was like, okay, the question a little bit tricky. I got an 84. Hopefully I didn't pass. And then I take it again. I pass. And then I was like, okay, I didn't get 100. I want to see what I got wrong. It's not there. So that I was really disappointed.
Well, I mean, you passed, so it looks like you know what you're doing. And maybe that's why they do that, but I don't know.
Maybe.
Interesting.
But the thing is that what I learned with URR and the ESP book, the questions, most of the questions that I was struggling with was not in either of those.
Huh. Yeah. So
maybe the out is kind of outdated. They need to update or something.
Maybe.
Because I really feel like they're really tailored to today's practices.
Yeah. Wow. I know. I feel like they have to update it too. Yeah, every year. And I forget, do you happen to know when vascular, when you can sit for, is it all year long?
It's all year long.
Okay. So you can and
vascular
RDCS too?
isn't all year long. RDCS is all year long.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like our DMS, all specialties, and
except for pediatrics. And fetal echo.
And fetal, yes.
Yeah. So everything else is all year long.
Yes.
Okay. Man, I'm getting old over here. But it's great that you passed and now you're moving on to RDCS. Do you have any advice to anyone that's going to want to take vascular?
Study thoroughly. It picked my brain. You need to know how the flow work with distal occlusion, proximal occlusion, distal thrombus, proximal thrombus. Every way the flow can go, you need to describe it and you need to know what it looks like, because I was going out of my mind trying to visualize different arteries with different flows, where it could be the stenosis or occlusion or thrombus everywhere in the body. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'd rather take abdomen, but I don't know. It's from head to toe.
Yeah.
And it's hard. So if you want to take vascular, study very thoroughly.
Oh yeah, study very thoroughly and make sure you guys are, planning ahead of time. Don't wait till the last minute. Make sure you schedule your tests and make sure you're studying the way that you need to study for yourself. But just know there's a lot of material out there for any of the exams on YouTube, on Facebook. Lots of people out there willing to help. And I believe there's also varsity, I don't know if it's called varsity tutors, but there's some tutoring like ARDMS, they tutor. So you can actually pay for a tutor. And I don't know, Rachel used to do it for SPI. I know you guys know Rachel, most of you who've been listening for a long time. She was working for that company and was tutoring for SPI. So maybe if you guys need a tutor at one point, use that. There are so many things out there that can help you pass these exams so you can get those jobs and you can work wherever you want to work that requires that. Now, a lot of places require vascular. I'm assuming yours does too, right? To have the RVT.
Yes.
A lot of hospitals require RVT. So this is a very important examination test for you guys to
Oh,
think about.
speaking of which, because you said that my exam, it includes like the whole body, not just, I always thought like, of course, transcranial,
Transcranial
there's a
Doppler.
transcranial. So like the head and extremities, but literally so much abdomen, all over body, like from the face to the back of the head to the digits in your toes, like everywhere.
Everywhere. Yes.
So vascular is everywhere.
It's the whole body, guys. It's not just one thing. And it's got a reputation for a reason. And people are afraid to take it for a reason. There's a lot of people who actually don't have this credential because it's just so hard, or people, say it's super hard. So if you want to achieve it, you can do it. You just got to study and, learn, make sure you know how to do things. And if you get some scanning behind you, that'll help you a lot. I remember I took it maybe like almost 6 or 7 months after being a sonographer, after graduation, because I took abdomen first. So I had a lot of experience. And when I took vascular, I passed it on the first try too. And I was surprised because obviously it's the hardest exam. And I'm like, how did I pass it on the first try? But I understood a lot of the vascular stuff better because of all the scanning I did. So, give it a try, you guys. If you're someone who's also afraid to take it, remember you can take exams more than one time. So, just give it a try. And congratulations, Lynn, again.
Oh, thank you.
We're so proud of you and can't wait to see you pass RDCS soon.
Yes. And of course, you guys will know the day that I pass.
So this is today's episode. It was all about Lynn and, vascular. We wanted to make sure that she knows that all of her hard work has been paying off. And you guys can do it too. She is clear proof that anything's possible if you, put your mind to it. So,
and take initiative.
Yes, take initiative. Do your research and
be proactive.
Be proactive, and like no one's gonna hold your hand through it. You gotta do this all yourself. And hopefully, if you need help, reach out. Let us know. Comment, like, subscribe, follow. You guys know the drill. And we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you
so much. Thank you for listening. See you next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.